Hello, today I'll read Deuteronomy chapter 4. In chapter 3 it was about the death of Og, king of Bashan, division of the land before the Jordan, and Moses forbidden to cross the Jordan. God did not allow that Moses to enter in the Canaan country because it was a road of faith, and Moses had not enough faith in God in a case when he took his staff and struck the stone without listening to the God that he told him to say to the stone to take out water from it. I mean, to proclaim to the stone, to talk with the stone, and that the stone to give water to the Israelite people. And yeah, and because of that, God did not allow him to enter in the Canaan, in the promised land. Even if all his life was doing just escape, was to escape the Israelites from Egypt and to take out from there and to arrive to pass them into the Canaan. All his life was with that purpose, and because of a small thing of unfaithfulness, God did not allow him to enter in the promised land. It was a bit sad, but yeah. But God showed him from the mountain all the land from the distance. Now let's see what's next in the chapter 4. Hear now, O Israel, the decrees and laws I am about to teach you. Follow them so that you may live and may go in and take possession of the land that the Lord, the God of your fathers, is giving you. Do not add to what I command you, and do not subtract from it, but keep the commands of the Lord of your God that I give you. Yeah, we must do that too. Do not subtract from it and or to add God's words, add God's law. You saw with your own eyes what the Lord did at Baal Peor. The Lord your God destroyed from among you. Before that, without adding or taking out something, without adding the praying to the saints or to the dead bodies, even if they were saints, or to add lots of things, or without subtract from it. Oh, this is not for us. These words are for the others, and no. It's the God's law and the God's commands. The God commands, and we are not allowed to add or to subtract from it. Oh, okay. Now let's continue. You saw with your own eyes what the Lord did at Baal Peor. That was just an example, but there are more. The Lord your God destroyed from among you everyone who followed the Baal of Peor, but all of you who held fast to the Lord your God are still alive today. But even that, it's against God to pray to the dead bodies or to talk with the dead Okay, yeah, let's continue. But all of you who hold fast to the Lord your God are still alive today. See, I have taught you decrees and laws, as the Lord my God commanded me, so that you may follow me, so that you may follow them in the land you are entering to take possession of it. Observe them carefully, for this will show your wisdom and understanding to the nations, who will hear about all these decrees and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. What other nation is so great as to have their gods near them the way the Lord our God is near us whenever we pray to Him? And what the other nation is so great as to have such righteous decrees and laws as this body of laws I am setting before you today? Only be careful and watch yourselves closely so that you do not forget these things your eyes have seen, or let them slip from your heart as long as you live. Teach them to your children and to their children after them. Remember the day you stood before the Lord your God at Horeb, when He said to me, assemble the people before me to hear my words, so that they may learn to revere me as long as they live in the land, and may teach them to their children. You came near and stood at the foot of the mountain while it blazed with fire to the very heavens, with black clouds and deep darkness. Wow. Then the Lord spoke to you out of the fire. You heard the sound of words, but saw no form. There was only a voice. He declared to you His covenant, the 10 Commandments, which He commanded you to follow, and then wrote them on 2 stone tablets. Even if some of them saw God or something, but it was some of their leaders, and they already died. And Moses and Joshua maybe. And the Lord directed me at that time to teach you the decrees and laws you are to follow in the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess. You saw no form of any kind the day the Lord spoke to you at Horeb out of the fire. Therefore watch yourselves very carefully, so that you do not become corrupt and make you for yourselves an idol, an image of any shape, whether formed like a man or a woman, or like any animal on earth, or any bird that flies in the air, or like any creature that moves along the ground, or any fish in the waters below. And when you look up to the sky and see down to them, and see the sun, the moon, and the stars, all the heavenly array, do not be enticed into bowing down to them and worshipping the things the Lord your God has apportioned to all the nations under heaven. But as for you, the Lord took you and brought you out of the iron smelting furnace, out of Egypt, to be people of His inheritance, as you now are. The Lord was angry with me because of you, and He solemnly swore that I would not cross the Jordan and enter the good land the Lord your God is giving you as your inheritance. I will die in this land. I will not cross the Jordan, but you are about to cross over and take possession of that good land. Be careful not to forget the covenant of the Lord your God that He made with you. Do not make for yourselves an idol in the form of anything the Lord your God has forbidden. So no idols, no icons, nothing. For the Lord your God is a consuming fire, a jealous God. After you have had children and grandchildren and have lived in the land a long time, if you then become corrupt and make any kind of idol, doing evil in the eyes of the Lord your God and provoking Him to anger, I I call heaven and earth as witnesses against you this day that you will quickly perish from the land that you are crossing the Jordan to possess. You will not live there long, but will certainly be destroyed. To be with God is not so easy. There are lots of blessings, but still there are lots of things that you must be careful, that you must protect the law of the God. You must be careful of everything. The Lord will you will not live there long, but will certainly be destroyed. The Lord will scatter you among the peoples, and only a few of you will survive among the nations to which the Lord will drive you. There you will worship man-made gods of wood and stone, which cannot see or hear or eat or smell. But if from there you seek the Lord your God, you will find him if you look for him with all your heart and with all your soul. When you are in distress and all these things have happened to you, then in later days you will return to the Lord your God and obey him. For the Lord your God is a merciful God. He will not abandon or destroy you or forget the covenant with your forefathers, which he confirmed them by oath. Be careful, and it says be careful, and it says lots of things. If you are not listening to God, it will happen this. But after this you will come back. So it means that those things will really happen some days. But what they could do, it was not today, not in our generation. Our generation must be alive, must be faithfulness to the God, must have faith in God and trust, and must be holy. What we can do in this life, maybe we cannot change, or we may try, maybe in a portion, but what we can do, what is more easy to do is with this generation, with these people that are alive now and today, that they to remain with God and to be holy, to provoke them, to motivate them to follow the God and to listen to the God. Follow the Jesus Christ. Okay. For the Lord your God is a merciful God. He will not abandon or destroy you or forget the covenant with your forefathers, which he confirmed them by oath. Ask now about the former days, long before your time, from the day God created man on the earth. Ask from one end of the heavens to the other. Has anything so great as this ever happened, or has anything like it ever been heard of? Has any other people heard the voice of God speaking out of fire as you have and lived? Has any God ever tried to take for himself one nation out of another nation by testings, by miraculous signs and wonders, by war, by a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, or by great and awesome deeds like all the things the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before your very eyes? There is no other gods. But God is talking with them on their language. You were shown these things so that you might know that the Lord is God. Besides him, there is no other. Now here it's saying the truth. From heaven he made you hear his voice to discipline you. On earth, he showed you his great fire, and you heard his words from out of the fire, because he loved your forefathers and chose their descendants after them. He brought you out of Egypt by his presence and his great strength, to drive out before your nations greater and stronger than you, and to bring you into their land, to give it to you for your inheritance as it is today. Acknowledge and take to heart this day that the Lord is God in heaven above and on the earth below. There is no other. Keep his decrees and commands, which I am giving you today, so that it may go well with you and your children after you, and that you may live long in the land the Lord your God gives you for all time. Then Moses set aside 3 cities east of the Jordan, to which anyone who had killed a person could flee if he had unintentionally killed his neighbor without malice aforethought. He could flee into one of these cities and save his life. The cities were these: Bezer, in the desert plateau, for the Reubenites, Ramoth in Gilead, for the Gadites, and Golan. In Romanian language, Golan is a thief. That's the word of a thief. And yeah, there are lots of words, but Golan too. In Bashan, for the Manassites. This is the law Moses set before the Israelites. These are the stipulations, decrees, and the laws Moses gave them when they came out of Egypt and were in the valley near Beth Peor, east of the Jordan, in the land of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon and was defeated by Moses and the Israelites as they came out of Egypt. They took possession of his land and the land of Og, king of Bashan, the 2 Amorite kings east of the Jordan. This land extended from Aroer on the rim of the Arnon Gorge to Mount Sion, that is Hermon, and included all the Arabah east of the Jordan, as far as the Sea of the Arabah, below the slopes of Pisgah. Okay, that was the chapter. It's like an introduction to the next chapter, the last part. And we must follow God's commands and do not to walk into the light, because that's the way of the light, and that's the only way that God show us. Okay, may About cities of refugee, I think we talked about, or we will. It was about people who killed someone by accident without wanting to kill him or to hurt him, and it really happened, no, like a real accident, and they had no fault, no guilt. Maybe they had fault but no guilt on them. I mean, they didn't want to do that, and it really happened. And they could save their lives into the cities of refugee. But with like a prison, it was there. They could just live into that city and around them, but not too far. And they could not leave the city, only be after the high priest will die, and they should be free. But if they would leave the city area, the man who wanted revenge, on him, they could kill him, and the revengers had that authority, I mean that permission to kill the one who did something like who killed one of their children, or I don't know, and about that guilt, about that killing. And it was very weird, the laws, but in that area they were protected. But after the high priest would die, they would be free, the criminals, and criminals without guilt, without and they could not be killed by revengers. They were protected by the law, and if the revengers would kill them, they would have been, or they would be killers too, and they should be killed and called criminals. Okay, that was the chapter. May the God bless me, protect me, and delight me in the next chapter too. And if you want, you will see me there too. God bless you all, and goodbye.